Okie dokie. So at the start of spring here in southeast Queensland, and as you can see, out where I am, it's dry and dead as fuck. That's what winter does. Get pretty heavy frost out here. But being the start of spring, I thought I'd better start getting some of the veggie gardens going. So in this video, we'll be planting out these beds here. I've already got one planted out there, as you can see. Obviously, this being along just a bit of a wire fence I've erected here. This will be all melons and you know, pumpkins, that kind of sort. So today we'll be planting out got some seedless, well, it's called almost seedless, seedless watermelon. Probably put some rock melon, honeydew, and I got some pumpkin seeds as well. Also probably plant a couple of little bits and bobs in these beds. Like, I don't really like to waste a garden bed. Like, you can usually support, like, I'll probably put some, you know, we'll see what seeds I've got in there, some snow peas and other. But anyway, just a basic little garden guide from a unprofessional person. But hey, I've had some successful growth last year in my veggie garden. Didn't really document too much of it, but we'll try and make some more videos this year. But anyway, we'll start off by just showing you the basic soil mix I make here. Obviously, you don't have to make this mix. There's no one fits all soil mix. This is just what I use because it's what I have available around me. As you can see, I live, you know, right next to a, you know, big cattle property, so I've got lots and lots of cow poo. So what I basically do is I have got a barrow full of cow poo here. I've just got some just the cheapest bags of soil I can find at Bunnings. I do have chickens. If I can get some fresh chicken poo, I usually do, but I'm a bit lazy this time. I've just got the bit of a roost, just a bought chicken manure mix. So anyway, we'll cut and I'll get to the ratios and how I mix this all up. Alright, so I've gone ahead and roughly chopped up and broken up all the cow manure I've gone and collected, so it's nice and easy to mix through. Obviously, that's a full barrel full, so I won't use that in one mix. But we'll go ahead and we'll start mixing this up. Okay, so I've gone and divided the barrow full of cow manure, divided in half, so I've got about half a barrow of manure. And what I also like to do, I've also got half a barrow, this is just lawn clippings from my lawn around here. I've always got plenty. You can use hay, you know, sugarcane mulch, any sort of mulch you want. But what I'll do is I like to mix you equal parts of each, mix that all together, and that gives you a nice, what that one does, it helps sort of break up the cow manure so it's not so strong to burn your plants. And also, when you mix the soil into it, it helps make a really nice aerated mix, so your roots will get plenty of oxygen, and also that grass will break down along with the cow manure and any other organic material you have in there, which will just keep feeding your plants. So always a good idea to add a bit of that, and at the same time, if you're a tight ass like me, helps make your soil spread a lot further. So anyway, we'll get this mixed together. Okay, so that's all our manure and grass mixed together, and as you can see, still plenty of manure, but that just gives it a nice aerated mix. Don't be afraid to get your hands in it, just as long as you wash it afterwards, it's not that big a deal. And also I'm going to add some chook poop to this, so we'll chuck that in. Alright, so there's our chook poop. I didn't really read the bag for what ratios you're supposed to do. Like, I'm used to just working with, you know, natural shit. So hopefully that's right. But we'll mix that through. I'm sure it'll be fine. Give it a bit extra nutrients. So we'll check that mixed up. And like magic, it's mixed as a chook poop mix through. Now, finally, we're going to add the actual soil to this soil. So we'll chuck that in. And there is one bag of the cheapest bag of soil I could find. So in the next flash, you'll see that all mixed through. And there we have Kai's premium blend soil mix. Perfect for growing vegetables or really whatever else you want to grow in it. Found it works really fucking well, and it's cheap, well, cheap for me anyway. But all these things you can get quite easily. If you can't get them around you, you can buy them all pretty cheaply at your local hardware or you know, nursery. Or you can make your own mix of things you have and you source local around you. That's simply how I've done this one. Don't think, like I said, don't think there's one single mix of soil. Have a look what you have around you. Learn the fundamentals of what nutrients you need in your soil, and just utilize it and just make a mix of soil. Like I said, this here total investment, make this barrow of soil. I think the bag of soil was $3. That chook poo, I think I paid, I don't know, $8 for the whole bag. I used, I don't know how much of it, but not a whole lot. So this probably cost maybe, I don't know, $4 to make this barrel of soil. So I suppose you could make cheaper mixes. Like I said, if I could source some soil without, like, I probably could just dig some soil if I really wanted to, but I'm just lazy, and I just thought, fuck it, I'll buy some soil. But yeah, this works for me. So next step is planting these beds out. But first I'll take a little run through of what I'm doing here. I actually like to use tyres. I'm sure it's nothing new. I'm sure other people use tyres, but not a whole bunch. But I find they work really well because, one, you go to any tyre shop, you can get them for free because they have to pay to get rid of them, because they're any bald tyres they take off cars. They don't get paid money for those. They got to pay to dispose of them. So if you go to a tyre shop and just ask, can you get some old tyres, they'll just point in the direction basically, and you can just take as many as you want. So yeah, great little way to make garden beds. But another advantage of what I like to do is I've got, if you ever got some clay pebbles, rocks, perlite, anything really, which I don't have any of, I have that just handful in my hands. So unfortunately these beds won't be getting that treatment. But yeah, usually I fill these rims here, I fill it all with pebbles or rocks or whatever, because what I find that actually works very well is when you water things, gradually they will sort of hold water, and it just gives a little bit of an extra water reservoir for your plants to access, you know, if things get a little dry. But we should be right with these ones. But anyway, we'll cut to these beds full of soil that I've just mixed up in this barrow. Okay, garden beds are full of soil. Now it's time to plant out the seeds. I do actually also have all of these seeds planted up on my deck in my hydroponics setup, which I'll show you a bit later once I've done this. I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to have soil, everything, you know, all these planted in soil, but also once the seeds are sprouted up there and I get them into buckets, I'm going to have on the other side of the post, I'm going to have a bucket. So, you know, say for a watermelon and soil, there'll be a watermelon in a bucket, and then, you know, rock melon and soil, you get the idea. And it'll be interesting to see how much quicker, or, you know, possibly slower the hydroponic ones grow. I'm sure they'll grow quicker, but it'll show you a bit of a comparison anyway, and it'll be interesting. And at the end of the day, more fruit is always a good thing. So we'll start planting these beds out anyway now with these seeds. I'll just show you one bed because you don't really need to see me planting out a gazillion trillion of them. Okay, so that one down there has already got watermelon in it. So with this one, we'll chuck some rock melons. So I've just got the old seeds, sport seeds. You can get them from an actual rock melon if you want to. I've done that before and it works. I just bought seeds this time. You know, either one works, but yeah, either one you got to spend money on. So when I'm planting soil, I always like to plant more than one seed because, you know, just in case, it just gives you a bit of a better shot, because I figure you can always delete a plant, but it's annoying having to start again. So we've got, well, how many seeds I got here? 3, 4, there's one over there, 5, 4, and 5. So all we'll do is just push those in. Simple as that. So that's the rock melon. We'll just give that a bit of a fluff up on the top. That's the rock melon planted. So plant it towards the back, obviously, because I want the vine to grow up along this fence. What else can we chuck in here? Might chuck. Oh, sorry if the wind's making sound or spazzo. some corn in here, eh? Put maybe like a corn, just about 3 corns I reckon I can put in here, because, you know, why not put them towards the front here. There's enough nutrients in this soil, like as you saw from the mix video there. It's a very very rich and organic material, which I found is not a bad thing. Some people say you should be careful with manure and that, because it burns your plants and I don't know. I found the more you stick in, the better. It doesn't really seem to hurt them. So I find if you don't put enough in, it just nothing really grows. So, and you know, especially me, I've done a bit of hydroponic gardening, which again you'll see soon. And if you look at how much nutrients is in that, it's crazy. So I sort of figure if they can handle it in pure form like that, I'm sure they can handle it in soil, and they do, in my experience. So there's 3 corn planted in there. I don't think you want to put too much more in there, because like I said, don't want to soak up all. I want to be able to support all these plants, so I might just leave it for that bed. Oh, screw it. We'll show you each one. Just for the hell of it, we might chuck in, say, a sugar snap pea, just one sugar snap pea. See if it actually, you know, lives. So, yeah, we'll plonk that just again towards the back, because it can grow along the fence as well. I've got some planted up on my deck, but again, never hurts to have a bit more. Okay, so that basically, last step when I'm planting better, all I do is just grab a bit more of your mulch, whatever you want to use. I've just got grass here. You can use sugarcane mulch, you can use anything you want, as long as it basically covers your soil up and holds moisture, and it also will break down and give nutrients. Does lots of good things. Always a good benefit putting some mulch on top of your soil. I do it mostly because you keep the moisture in there, but this soil mix, it stays really nice and moist too. I think because it does have the grass in there and that. And there you go, that's the garden bed planted out. And for me, last thing I generally do, you don't have to do this, but this is what I do, because I have free-range chickens that like to go and dig up garden beds. So I just find wherever I can, a bit of wire, great, this is some wire basket, chuck that on top just so they can't get in there and start digging all my fucking efforts up. But yeah, that's a bed more or less planted out, just needs a good water to set everything in, and she's apples. Might take you for a little walk up to the deck and show you what's going on there to end the video. So catch us up there in a minute. Okay, so here we are at my humble abode. I'm not going to go into detail about it in this video, but we're going to focus on what I've just started planting out. Again, it's pretty barren at the moment. Only just starting out, but we've got some more of the garden beds planted out here. I honestly can't remember what I've planted in these, to be honest, so you'll see in a later video what the seeds emerge as. But I've got onions. These have been growing for a while. I just put some more manure on top just to help feed them up. There is a few other tomatoes and capsicum sprouts in there. They're sort of everywhere around here, because that's supposed to be a compost heap, but the chickens eat it before it can compost, so you know, it's really more of a treat patch for the chickens, which is fine. I don't mind that. But I get some of the grass there sometimes as mulch, and there's obviously seeds in it, so I get lots of volunteer little things pop up, mostly capsicum and tomato, because they grow really easily. So we probably have quite a few of those growing in here amongst I think some of the seeds were spinach. I got some baby spinach, you know, beetroot, obviously onions. I think there is a broccoli too planted in here, but there'll be a lot of tomatoes, probably capsicums as well. We've got strawberry planted here. That's the boysenberry. It was flourishing last year, but obviously it's gone a bit dormant over winter, but it'll come back. It hasn't died, it's just gone a bit dormant. We'll take it up on the deck, because this is the main street. We've got a capsicum plant. Again, this was planted last year. It was a really big bushy plant. It got ravaged a bit by mites though, but I managed to save it. You can see here it's sort of dead, but we've got little, out of each of these little nodules, there's new life coming out. So it's growing, but it's sprung. I'm not too sure. It's not very big. It was a big plant, so I was going to pull them off. I thought, nice stuff, let them go. But it's got a whole fuck ton of flowers popping out. So it won't probably be very big. There'll be little capsicums, but we should. You can see there's one growing. That's only about probably a week from flower, so they're growing quick. But again, I've topped this up with lots of manure. That mix I've done in the garden, this one's had heaps of it in there. And we've got another. Again, it's a capsicum plant, but we've got a little capsicum here. Tomato. There's another one. Yep, there's another tomato there. Didn't plant those. They're just all volunteers. That's all right. Again, you can either leave them in there, or if they get bigger, you just pull them out and relocate them. Not a big deal. Got these. These are about probably a week and a half, from sprout. These are a nice. They're not your store variety broccoli, but they're similar type. They look like to be really nice though. So they're broccolis. But they're going along very nicely. Again, we've got little volunteer capsicum, tomato, capsicum. Yeah. There's probably a few more in there, just let them go. But this is the hydroponic setup. So as you can see, we'll take you along from the start. Very simple. If you want to grow, if you want to grow vegetables, flowers, food, anything quickly and effectively with flourishes, hydroponics really works very, very well. Which is why I've got it here. So I plant this out with a lot of stuff that, stuff that you'll pick at, grow regularly. So I've got, we'll look you through what I've got in a minute. I'll just hold off rambling. I'll show you how it actually works if you haven't seen a hydroponic system before. Okay, so basically in here, this is just a container I've got. You just fill that with your nutrient solution, which is just water, and you buy pre-mixed. You can buy powder or liquid form. You just mix the right ratios, the nutrient solution, the water. You got a nitrogen based one for growth, or a potassium based one for bloom. So basically, when you're growing your veggies and that, you generally speaking, you just want to stick to your nitrogen based one. But if you've got a lot of fruiting plants, or things that are actually like, once these start to actually get a bit of like the snow peas and that, get a bit of fruit growing on, you might add just a little bit of potassium to it to help, just to help those along. But generally speaking, a nitrogen based one's what you want. But yeah, you fill that with your nutrient water. There's just a little pump in there, just a little general small pond pump. So that just pumps the water up through a hose. That hose obviously leads along here into this thing. This is just a low channel. You can buy these. I raise all my seeds in this. Again, a lot of people with hydroponics say you shouldn't start off seeds in the full nutrient mix. You should actually start with either just plain water or a seed raising mix. But honestly, I've had no issues just having them straight into the full nutrient solution, and it really just simplifies things a lot. So yeah, that's what I do. But yeah, you basically have these little cups. They're just like that. They sit in the water there, as you can see. That's called rock wool. I see if I've got a piece laying around. Yeah, that's that. That's what it looks like. You can buy these. All this stuff. Have a look on Google. You'll be surprised. There'll be a hydroponic shop near you. Don't be afraid. It's not. Lots of people do it. It's a very effective way of growing vegetables. But yeah, basically it's called rock wool. Apparently it's a type of volcanic rock that they heat up and they blast through. But you can use this for soil as well. Like, people use these to start off seedlings, even to plant in soil. Like, you don't have to use it just for hydroponics. Like, I use these for everything. But anyway, basically they sit in these cups. They just sit in the water, and you just plonk your. See, they've got a little hole there. You just plonk your seed in there, and I usually just put a little bit of stuff on top just to cap it off to stop the light getting in. And yeah, they just soak the moisture up in this because they sit in the water the whole time, and that will eventually pop off. But anyway, that's the seed raising tray. So the hose goes into there. That's where the seeds are. That fills up. It drains through this little thing. It drains into the main pipe. I've just got this here because it tends to want to capillarate down here and drip, which uses up the reservoir real quick. So I've found that just stops it. It helps it to track along. But anyway, it drops through. This is this PVC, just your normal stormwater pipe. I've just run here, and I was actually underneath here. There you can see there's a snow pea. It's either snow pea or sugar snap pea. It's just sitting in there because once the roots are long enough, I start off in here because once the roots need to get quite a bit long, because in this pipe, as you'll see here, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can go. The water level isn't very high because obviously it's just water trickling through it. But that's the idea, because you want to still have oxygen getting to your roots because that helps with the plant growth. But obviously they need access to the moisture and the nutrients which is in that water passing through. But I think you can see here, there you go. Those are some of the roots from, I can't get the phone in there. But you can see those roots are actually coming from that little snow pea plant. The roots travel, like eventually this whole tube will just be full of roots in that water. But yeah, you just plonk in those holes. So eventually all this will be full of plants. But I've got some over here because these were over here, but they've gotten roots long enough to go here. This is just a mixed lettuce. That's I think that's what's not called. It's another broccoli. Not a normal one. It's a broccolini. It's not broccoli. It's like a broccolini, the thin, narrow type variety, but not the store-bought again. It's just another variety, but a nice looking one. But that's it, broccoli. Again, these were planted seeds in there a week and a half ago. Probably 2 weeks now. So from seed to this in 2 weeks, that gives you an idea of hydroponics. Really, really effective, and just as much nutrients I think is growing, you know. It's not organic. That's the one downside to it, but hey, it's still got the nutrients you need. Later on I will be doing aquaponics, which uses fish instead of a artificial nutrient solution, but again, that's down the track. There's another snow pea or sugar snap pea. But anyway, oh, that one there. This one I'm looking forward to. This is a beefsteak tomato. If you haven't seen, you don't know what beefsteak tomatoes are, look them up. It's pretty cool. They basically tomatoes that grow really huge, the size of pumpkins. Well, you can get them really big. So I figure put that in a hydroponic. That's just simply a bucket. Actually, this will give you a good look at what it looks like. This is the bucket system, and I put in these baskets. It's just rocks in there. Same thing. It's just one of those pieces of rock wool. I've just buried it in the rocks, and there's all the roots. So the roots just come through. And they just sit in here. It's better to have an aerator, like a fish air pump in there. That really helps make them grow better as well, because it gives oxygen to the roots. But this still works all right, as long as you don't have it filled to the brim with water, as long as there's still a bit of air around those roots. But they're not obviously exposed completely. They need to be in water. Yeah, they grow really well. So interesting to see how that goes. And again, that was actually a cutting. That wasn't not a cutting. That was started off in soil down there. It grew a little thing. Then I put that little sprout in the rock wool, rooted that up, and then I put it in there. So I think from a sprout, that was about 3 weeks ago. It was about probably to there, maybe 3 weeks ago. So again, pretty rapid growth. I've done tomatoes go fantastic in hydroponics. I've done it before, and you get lots and lots of tomatoes off them. It's great. But yeah, that's about it for what I've got here so far. Obviously, this will be expanding, and your garden beds around here, and the tires will be more filled out, and they'll start to be grown, and eventually it's going to go all around there. But yeah, that's just a little introduction to how the gardens are going here now. Well, the startings of the gardens. So you'll see them grow over time, and you'll see this place start to turn a bit greener, hopefully. I'll try and keep up with the videos a bit more. Hopefully this isn't too long. It's probably turned out to be another longer one, but I'm trying to do a lot more frequent, shorter videos that are just focused on one topic. But we'll see how that goes. But if you enjoy them, give them a like. If you feel a need to share it, I know it's pretty poor quality. I'm going to try and improve over time. My camera's a bit better if you haven't noticed. But yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Catch you all next time.